So after going through all these names, it's about 300 of the top arrests and executions of people we should know. But some of them I don't, and I wanted to make a video, but I couldn't fit all those people into one video. So I'm breaking it down into 10 parts, and I hope you guys like it. Here we go. Alright, before we get started, I'm gonna need you guys to remember these code words. They're gonna be very important. This is Peter. He's a former FBI agent and he has been executed. Remember he was texting that other FBI agent about getting rid of Trump somehow? Just look at the way they move and talk. These are fake people.
Strzok was dismissed from the Mueller investigation and later fired by the FBI after text messages showed him criticizing then-candidate Trump. Strzok sent those messages to Lisa Page, an FBI attorney who he was having an affair with. The White House says the book is full of lies and, quote, isn't worth the paper it is printed on. And Peter Strzok joins us now. Mr. Strzok, thank you for being here. To say your book is highly anticipated is an understatement. There's a very big claim at the center of it, and that is that the President of the United States is compromised, unable to put the country's interests above his own. What is your best evidence of that charge?
Well, good morning. It's great to be here. Look, I do think the president is compromised. I spent over 2 decades recruiting spies and supervising counterintelligence investigations throughout the United States and around the world.
Karina Belanoff has been executed. She's into witchy things and cannibalism, so can only imagine. And just look at the many of thousands of tweets that was deleted by Chrissy Teigen. You're on your way to do what? I know she just allegedly went through a miscarriage, but it's something not right about her.
Was recently appeared on David Chang's upcoming Netflix show, Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner, and they were discussing the crazy things they would try as food, like what they would eat and what they wouldn't eat. And she then said this.
If the person okayed it, I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of human meat.
No. I think the only way
you wouldn't try a tiny bite?
No.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Eric Schmidt was the chair of the U.S. Department of Defense Innovation Advisory Board, amongst many other things. He has been executed.
20 years ago, the one really big player was Microsoft. But Microsoft has now been joined by 4 other very, very large companies, each of which is run cleverly, but in a different way. They have different ways in which they win and they lose. We benefit from that brutal competition.
Richard Gere was an American actor. He has been executed. And no, I'm not here to make any gerbil jokes. Bruce Jenner, now known as Caitlyn Jenner, is on house arrest awaiting tribunal. He is an American TV personality and a gold medalist winner.
Bruce Jenner wins the gold medal and sets a new...
Jenner is proud to be living her truth. The Olympic gold medalist celebrated the 5-year anniversary of her transition by recalling the moment she came out on the cover of Vanity Fair in June 2015.
Kris Jenner is arrested on house arrest awaiting tribunal. She is an American TV personality and businesswoman.
Kris Jenner is denying sexual harassment accusations by her former security guard, who in a new lawsuit also makes claims of racial and gender discrimination.
Kim Kardashian West is also arrested on house arrest awaiting tribunal. She is an American media personality and a whole bunch of other things. I don't even want to go there.
Kanye West's recent Twitter war with the music industry, Kim Kardashian is rumored to be inching closer and closer to a divorce as she appears to have hit her breaking point. Let's break it down.
Khloe Kardashian is arrested on house arrest waiting tribunal. And what I find to be creepiest about her is that her face continuously changes, like so frequently. Is this a double? Is this CGI? Are they mixing and matching? Like, she just got roasted on Twitter for this, trying to look like Beyonce. Is also arrested on house arrest waiting tribunal. She's an American TV personality and businesswoman, and she also recently got caught lying to Forbes about being a billionaire.
Forbes is calling out Kylie Jenner, saying she's not only a liar, but she's not a billionaire. In an online video, Forbes deputy wealth editor Chase Peterson-Winthorne says Kylie Jenner is super rich and her business is wildly successful, but for years she has lied and exaggerated just how successful she really is. Forbes reporter.
And last of the Kardashian-Jenner clan is Kourtney. With the exception of Rob Kardashian and Kylie Jenner, they're all arrested on house arrest waiting tribunal.
On Thursday, September 30th, Kris Jenner and Kourtney Kardashian's names were plastered in the headlines, and not for their typical reasons. A former security guard for Kris Jenner and Kourtney Kardashian has filed a lawsuit against the two and is accusing them of alleged sexual harassment. According to TMZ, who had an exclusive on the story, Mark McWilliams claims Kris and Kourtney sexually harassed him with sexual comments and overtures. Mark was hired in 2017 as a security guard to keep watch over Kris and the rest of the Kar Jenner fam. In the lawsuit, TMZ reports Mark claims that in May 2017, he became subject of, quote, a pattern of unwanted and unwelcome sexual advances and other harassing misconduct from Kris.
Taylor Swift is also arrested on house arrest waiting tribunal. I went to her social media pages and all it is retweets and promotions of her music and selling merch and whatnot. There's nothing, no personal selfies or whatnot. Unless they're old, there's nothing new. So it makes me wonder, is she arrested already at Gitmo? Andrew McCabe is arrested and serving life. He was a former FBI deputy director.
Well, it appears federal prosecutors may soon move to indict former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe for lying. You'll recall the Justice Department's Inspector General's office found that McCabe lacked candor when he was interviewed by investigators back in May of 2017. Well, at issue was whether he was truthful when he was questioned about his role in giving a reporter sensitive information about an investigation into the Clinton Foundation.
Barack Obama was the 44th president of the United States. He has been arrested and executed.
So tell me about Joe and your relationship with Joe, and what do I need to know? Like, what's the thing about the ice cream? He loves ice cream. Tell me about that.
Well, listen, ice cream is big. Pasta with red sauce, he can go deep on that. He really does like.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama has been arrested and executed. They call her Big Mike because allegedly she's transgender, a man. I don't know.
As much as ever, less, more in the middle.
I am trying to shift into a different kind of mode. I've developed some hobbies. I started knitting. Hold on, girl. I have knitted over the course of this quarantine. I have knitted a blanket, like 5 scarves, 3 halter tops, a couple of hats for Barack, and I just finished my first pair of mittens for Malia. One is twice as big as the other.
Both Bill and Melinda Gates are listed as deceased. In 2012, they went to India. In 2013, they were giving out vaccines and ended up killing a lot of Indian children. Those children's parents hunted them down and hung them. What we see now are doubles, are CGI. Bill Gates has a YouTube page, so I went to go check out his trip to India from 2012. Tell me this don't look like a recon mission to you. Like right before they went over there to give out vaccines, he went to recon the people in the area. This dude, ugh.
India's an amazing place. 20% of the people on the planet live there, and it's the world's biggest democracy. It's energetic, it's chaotic, there's a lot of neat new things happening there. They have a lot of talented people. I try to take advantage of all the time on these trips to meet with as many of these great people as I can. And it's really a chance to learn. I learned as much on this trip as any trip. Well, Uttar Pradesh is a gigantic state. It's 200 million people, so it would be the 5th biggest country in the world if it was a country all by itself. It's the poorest part of India. There's a lot of health problems there. Well, the Ujjain slum is tough to visit because the makeshift homes and the lack of services show you that it's a very tough life. And yet, sitting down with the people there, they want their kids to get educated. They're thinking about how many kids they want to have. They do have a sense that things are going to get better. And so it's uplifting in a way, even though at first it's pretty shocking to be reminded of how tough their conditions are.
It's been said that the new couple we see are actually transgender. The man is really a woman and the woman is really a man. Mike Pence is the current and 48th Vice President of the United States since 2017. He has been arrested and executed.
We are continuing to follow breaking news out of Washington, D.C. Again, President Trump announcing that he and the First Lady, Melania Trump, have tested positive for COVID-19.
Remember those code words I asked y'all to remember in the beginning? Well, do y'all think President Trump is participating in being questioned, or do you think he's trolling them? Dr. Anthony Fauci has been arrested and released for a time to help President Trump. He's an American physician and immunologist.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, does it seem like he's helping to y'all? This is Huma Abedin. She has been arrested and executed. She was an American political staffer, and she was heavy on the Hillary Clinton campaign against Trump.
Hillary's closest aide, Huma Abedin, came out of seclusion for the first time since the email uproar broke last week. Photographers found her at Union Station in Washington. Just listen to what she said.
Hi, Huma, how are you?
Sad. You could see the sadness on her face. Huma was still plugging for Hillary at a glitzy private fundraiser in the nation's capital with fashion icons Anna Wintour and Diane von Furstenberg. With just 4 days until the election, the new Time magazine cover says it all. The end is near.
This is John Brennan. He's arrested and serving life. He's a former director of the CIA from March 2013 to January 2017.
24 hours of learning that the death toll in this country is going to double before June 1st, that the numbers of infections are going to quadruple by that same date. The top scientist in charge of developing a vaccine was ousted out of a move of retaliation.
Well, that's a damning indictment that should make every American's blood boil. If business and political crony interests are literally trumping the advice of medical experts during a period of great crisis in this country dealing with COVID-19, that is absolutely appalling.
George H.W. Bush has been arrested and executed. He was the 41st President of the United States and also an ex-director of the CIA. He has been involved in a lot of scandals in our country.
President Bush's service dog, Sully, is among those mourning his death. Last night, family spokesman Jim McGrath shared this photo of the yellow lab sleeping beside his master's casket.
And here we have his son, George W. Bush, the 43rd President of the United States. He has been arrested and executed as well.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war.
Laura Bush, his First Lady, has been arrested and executed.
First Lady Laura Bush believes she and former President George W. Bush may have been poisoned.
In Spoken from the Heart, the former First Lady takes on her husband's critics, especially House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, for calling President Bush an incompetent leader, and Harry Reid for labeling him a loser and a liar. Mrs. Bush writes, the comments were uncalled for and graceless. These particular words revealed the petty and parochial nature of some who serve in Congress. In one of the biggest surprises in the book, Mrs. Bush reveals she believes that she and the president may have been poisoned during a summit in Germany. She says he was bedridden. The Secret Service investigated, but could only conclude they had contracted a virus. Then Mrs. Bush turns personal, opening up for the first time about the turning point in her teenage years, when she ran a stop sign and struck and killed a classmate on the way to a drive-in theater. I was praying that the person in the other car was alive. In my mind, I was calling, please God, over and over again. She says she was racked with guilt for years about the crash, not attending the boy's funeral, and not reaching out to his parents. I lost my faith that November, she says, lost it for many, many years. It was the first time that I prayed to God for something, and it was as if no one heard.
Jeb Bush has been arrested and executed. He was the 43rd governor of Florida, while his brother was president, and he stole the election.
Good morning again, and we begin this morning in Jacksonville, Florida, where Florida Governor Jeb Bush is standing by. Governor, thank you for coming by.
It is a joy to be with you.
Let me begin with this question. Why is George Bush in Florida, of all places, this close to the election? After all, you're the governor down there. Everybody thought he had a lock on that state. What happened?
Well, not everybody. Ask Bill Clinton, who carried Florida in 1996. And since then, our state has changed. We have a lot of new people coming into our state, a lot of people that actually leave. And so, you know, every election's different. And we've never felt that it was a lock. We've worked very hard from the beginning. And we're ahead now because of that. And I think in the end, you're going to see Florida in the column. I'll tell you what, it's a little frustrating every morning to walk up and not have it be in the same color as all those other red states, though. So we're going to make sure it happens.
Remember that recount? Guess who was the governor of the state that recounted? Dick Cheney has been arrested and executed. He was the 46th Vice President of the United States and quoted as being the most powerful in American history.
My family and I are deeply sorry for all that Vice President Cheney and his family have had to go through this past week. We send our love and respect to them as they deal with situations that are much more serious than what we've had this week. And we hope that he will continue to come to Texas and seek the relaxation that he deserves.
James Baker has been arrested and executed. He was the White House Chief of Staff for Reagan and for Bush, the first one. James Clapper has been arrested and serving life. He's the former Director of National Intelligence.
The nation's top intelligence official on Wednesday evening submitted his letter of resignation, ensuring that President-elect Donald Trump will have the option to build his own network of intel leaders. He said, quote, "I submitted my letter of resignation last night, which felt pretty good. I have 64 days left, and I would have a hard time with my wife for anything past that." Clapper has long promised to leave his job at the end of President Obama's term in office, so his resignation was expected.
And last but not least in this video is Hillary Clinton. She has been arrested and executed, and she's the former U.S. Secretary of State, amongst many other things.
The company that managed Hillary Clinton's private email server when she was Secretary of State says it has no knowledge that the server was wiped. That could mean more than 30,000 emails Clinton says she deleted from the device could be recovered, according to a report in the Washington Post. Clinton has said personal correspondence sent and received during the 4 years she was Secretary of State were deleted from the server. About as many emails pertaining to the administration business have been turned over to the State Department, which is reviewing them and releasing them periodically by court order. Deleting emails is not the same as wiping a server. Deleted emails often can be recovered from a device that has not been wiped, which PC Magazine defines as a security measure when selling, giving away, or retiring a computer. A file wipe completely erases the data from the hard disk.
Do y'all remember when she fainted, or some people say died, after she spoke at that 9/11 site ceremony?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sandra Wilson.
And I'm Joe Torres. We begin with the breaking news about Hillary Clinton's death.
Some video of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton stumbling as she left the 9/11 commemoration in New York City this morning. A statement from Clinton's campaign says she felt overheated and she went to her daughter's apartment to get her bearings. Let's watch this video for a second. There you see her apparently almost falling, but captured, caught by people, presumably Secret Service agents around her. A little while ago, we saw Hillary Clinton leave her daughter's apartment building and wave to reporters and onlookers, looking much better than she does in the video we're showing you right now. She didn't have much to say just now, but you can listen to how she responded to a reporter's shouted questions.
How are you feeling, Secretary Clinton? Are you feeling better?
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, and as promised, here's video number 2. And before we get started, some of you guys asked where I got the info from. Just Google updated arrest and executions list and you should find it. There's a lot more information on this website, like, did you know president can pick his vice president at the very last minute? And they're saying Donald Trump is going to pick JFK Jr., who's still alive? I'd like to see that happen. Bill Clinton is the 42nd President of the United States. He also served as Governor and Attorney General of Arkansas. He has been arrested and executed.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
James Comey is the former director of the FBI from 2013 till his dismissal in 2017. He has been arrested and serving life. Paul Ryan was the 54th Speaker of the House of Representatives from October 2015 to January 2019. He has been arrested and at Gitmo. Gitmo is Guantanamo Bay. Side note, he ran for vice president in 2012 with Mitt Romney on the ticket as president. Dianne Feinstein was a U.S. Senator of California since 1992. She has been exiled to China.
I'm Dianne Feinstein, and I approve this message. I support the Affordable Care Act and voted against all of Trump's attempts to repeal it. But we need to do more. I believe in universal health care, in a public health option to compete with private insurance companies, and expanding Medicare to everyone over 55. And I believe Medicare must be empowered to negotiate the price of drugs.
California Values, Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Eric Holder was the United States Attorney General from 2009 to 2015. Not to get confused with this Eric Holder who killed Nipsey Hussle.
He's done other things that make one wonder whether he will actually leave if he loses the election. Are you concerned that he, even if he loses, will attempt to remain in office?
Yeah, I mean, there are these nightmare scenarios and we can wind them out. But I don't think that should take us away from what our focus has to be. He's got to be beat, and he has to be beaten badly.
John Kerry is the former U.S. Secretary of State. From 2013 to 2017, he has been arrested and serving life.
There was a time early on in this cycle, though, where your name was mentioned as a potential candidate. Is there any part of you, as you're crisscrossing Iowa this week, that thinks, you know what, I could have done this?
Well, I knew I could do it. That wasn't the issue. The issue was if my friend Joe Biden's in the race, what is you don't do it for your personal satisfaction or ambitions. What's important is to have a president and somebody to get the job done. I believe Joe can do it, and I was happy to support Joe.
Loretta Lynch was the 83rd Attorney General from 2015 to 2017. She is arrested and serving life.
Loretta Lynch now calling for blood, encouraging protesters to help get the president out of the White House, even if it costs them their lives.
They've marched, they've bled. Yes, some of them have died. This is hard. Every good thing is. We have done this before, we can do this again.
Well, the former Obama Attorney General also using that video to accuse the Trump administration of trampling on civil rights. However, she failed to offer any shred of evidence supporting that claim.
Lisa Page is a former FBI attorney. I told you guys about her in the first video when she got caught texting the other FBI agent in an affair trying to take down Trump.
Former FBI attorney Lisa Page, who has been one of President Trump's favorite targets over text messages she exchanged with Peter Strzok, blasted the president in a recent interview. The Washington Post notes in the interview with the Daily Beast that 39-year-old has slammed Trump for his, quote, sickening attacks against her and revealed how she struggled to keep her life together. She told the Daily Beast, I had stayed quiet for years, hoping it would fade away, but instead it got worse. She added, when the president accuses you of treason by name, despite the fact that I know there's no fathomable way that I've committed any crime at all, let alone treason, he's still somebody in a position to actually do something about that. To try to further destroy my life, it never goes away or stops, even when he's not publicly attacking me.
Tony Podesta was an American lobbyist. He funded the Podesta Group. He was actually the co-founder with his brother. He has been arrested and executed.
Investigation into alleged Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election, and now includes Tony Podesta. He is a powerful Democrat lobbyist and brother of Hillary Clinton's campaign chair, John Podesta. Robert Mueller's team is pursuing whether Tony Podesta's consulting work with Russians violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act.
John Podesta was a White House chief of staff for Bill Clinton from 1998 to 2001 and a counselor to Barack Obama from 2014 to 2015. Has been arrested and at Gitmo.
The Clinton campaign is hitting back following WikiLeaks' release of thousands of emails meant to derail Hillary Clinton's presidential bid. Clinton's campaign chair John Podesta is accusing Donald Trump's campaign for having a relationship with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Podesta's hacked email account was the source for thousands of newly leaked emails, which he blames on Russian hackers. Podesta going one step further, telling reporters Trump advisor Roger Stone had been given advance notice of the upcoming leak by Assange. The Clinton advisor supporting his claim with a tweet Stone had sent back in August saying Podesta's time in the barrel was coming. Podesta has confirmed the FBI is investigating the hack into his email account as part of the ongoing probe of other prominent hackings with Russian ties.
Samantha Power was the 28th U.S. ambassador to the United Nations from 2013 to 2017. She has been arrested and serving life.
Former ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, served under President Obama, following him from the Senate to the Oval Office. She shares her story in a new memoir, The Education of an Idealist. Power writes about growing up as an Irish immigrant in the U.S., covering Bosnia as a war reporter and campaigning for human rights.
Well, we have a president who's walked away from our alliances, cozied up to regimes that don't respect human rights for reasons that make very little sense, and unfortunately attacked institutions that make us very strong at home, and not taken pride in our diversity, indeed kind of shunned it. So it's going to be very hard to recover from this period in American history, but there is a hunger out in the world, and there is a need on behalf of the American people to do so.
Harry Reid is a former U.S. Senator of Nevada from 1987 to 2017. He has been arrested and serving life.
We do that. We've got a Democratic president, got Pelosi in the House, and we've got Democratic majority in the Senate. It's the time to do some really stunningly important things. And one of the things they're going to have to take a look at, I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but as to when we get rid of the filibuster, filibuster is not a question if it's going to be gone, it's only when it's going to be gone.
Susan Rice was the 27th U.S. ambassador to the United Nations from 2009 to 2013. She has been arrested and serving life.
And I think people want to know, have you been able to interview with Joe Biden yet?
Well, good morning, Jerika, and good morning, everyone. I can't talk about the process as it stands. I want to respect the vice president and his ability to pick the person that he deems best. So I'm not going to get into the details, but I'm honored to be among those that are reportedly being considered.
Donald Rumsfeld was the former Secretary of Defense under Ford and Bush, has been arrested and executed. Adam Schiff was a U.S. representative of California's congressional district since 2013. He has been arrested and executed.
We refuse all oversight, particularly in the context of an impeachment proceeding. The balance of power between our two branches of government will be irrevocably altered. That is not what the founders intended. And the prospects for further corruption and abuse of power in this administration or any other will be exponentially increased.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a U.S. representative of Florida, the 23rd District since 2013. She has been arrested and at Gitmo.
Basically, you seem to be saying, because you can't name anyone specifically, that there's no one specifically in charge that we can count on to make sure that people who need to be tested, healthcare workers or anyone else, there's not one person that can ensure that these tests can be administered.
So,
and I do have another question, so if we can kind of get
so very
the meat of
quickly,
question.
the system is not really geared to what we need right now.
George Soros was a Hungarian-born American billionaire, investor, and philanthropist. He had about $8.3 billion this past May. He has been arrested and executed.
George Soros thinks democracy is at risk. The Hungarian-born billionaire says now that Donald Trump has been elected president, the U.S. could face internal struggles in the near future, and targeted minorities will suffer. Soros argues democracy is in crisis, even calling the president-elect a con artist and would-be dictator. He believes many people feel that elites stole their democracies, which have led to the British vote to leave the European Union, Trump's presidency, and the recent Italian referendum. The bottom line, George Soros says global democracy is on shaky ground.
Maxine Waters was a U.S. representative of California, the 43rd District since 2013. She has been arrested and at Gitmo.
Let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Sally Yates was a former U.S. Attorney General, only serving in 2017. She was the Deputy Attorney General from 2015 to 2017. She has been arrested and at Gitmo.
When you heard about the interview, you got upset, didn't you?
I was upset that Director Comey didn't coordinate that with us and acted unilaterally. Yes, I was.
Okay. Did Comey go rogue?
You could use that term, yes.
Finally.
Let me clarify one thing here, because I think it's important that we be accurate. I said that Director Comey's decision to go interview General Flynn without coordinating that interview with us could be characterized as rogue. I was not characterizing Director Comey generally as rogue. So I think it's important to be accurate and fair there.
Nancy Pelosi is currently the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. She has been arrested and at Guantanamo Bay.
The president tweeting out he will be leaving Walter Reed, returning to the White House 68 hours or so after his hospitalization. What do you make of that news, Madam Speaker?
Well, first of all, I hope it's an indication that the physicians have given him permission to do this. We pray for the president's comfort and a speedy recovery for him. He has to remember, though, that his words weigh a ton. As President of the United States,
Chuck Schumer is the Senate Majority Leader since 2017, plus many more. He's been arrested and at Gitmo.
Chuck Schumer spent $8,600 on junior cheesecakes in the past decade. I give them as gifts. I use them for bets. You know, when someone wants to bet something, you know, for a Brooklyn thing versus a Wisconsin thing. We once bet when the Packers were playing the Giants, Wisconsin cheese or Junior's cheesecake. What would you rather have?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States from 1993 up until her, quote, death last month. She has been arrested and executed.
She just died? Wow. I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
Elijah Cummings was a U.S. Representative of Maryland's 7th Congressional District from 1996 up until his death of October 2019. He has been arrested and executed. Jacinda Ardern has been the Prime Minister of New Zealand since 2017. She has been arrested and under house arrest.
Having weighed up all these factors and taken wide soundings, I have decided on balance to move the election by 4 weeks to the 17th of October. At the end of last week, I was advised that this date is achievable and presents no greater risk than had we retained the status quo.
I was supposed to only do Tom Hanks, but since Rita was next, I might as well just put both of them together. Tom and Rita Hanks have been arrested and executed. They've both been in the business for over 40 years. He recently got his Greek citizenship, and to the normal person, okay, his wife is from Greece, I get it. But to somebody who's looking like me, Greece recently allowed a law to pass that allows pedophilia.
Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are now citizens of Greece. What a 2020 it's been for Tom and Rita. They contracted COVID-19, spent 2 weeks in isolation, and returned to LA. Both have since recovered.
Donald Trump talks and acts in code. They were executed, and he knows it.
Back at the start of 2020, which seems like forever ago, Hanks announced that he was an honorary citizen of Greece. His wife is of Greek ancestry. Now it's official. Greece's Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, and his wife presented the actors with their new passports. Hanks and Wilson were offered citizenship after helping the country raise funds following a deadly wildfire in 2018, according to the Associated Press.
The Prime Minister of Greece, who gave them this citizenship, him and his wife will be making an appearance in video number 4. Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's get into video number 3.
Hello? Hey girl, I'm in the movie. Shake and spin, love. Oh, you lying.
Madonna was an American singer, songwriter, and actress, if you want to call her that. She has been arrested and executed. She's been in the industry for almost 50 years, if not more than that. And you already know from this post what she's into. She also enjoys the company of little boys. And if you take a look at this picture right here, the boy standing next to her looks like her son, David, the adopted one.
Thank you, Amy. I'm just gonna head on over here.
Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I am outraged. Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House. But I know that this won't change anything.
Did y'all see everybody's reaction to that? It was like crickets. They was like, what the fuck? I ain't really heard from her ever since then. Lady Gaga was an American singer, songwriter, and actress. She has been arrested and executed. Like Madonna before her, she's the exact replica, but just modernized.
In the USA right now, in the midst of a presidential campaign, which is proving to be pretty divisive, you've declared your backing for Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
I mean, there will be a new president, and it could be Donald Trump.
I have nothing to say of him.
He claims that he represents people who have been unrepresented, who haven't had a voice.
I think what is most important is for us to try to decipher now what is real and what is not, and what is honest and what is dishonest, and be accepting of those things, and not operating from fear.
I'm intrigued that you literally won't say anything about him. You have endorsed Hillary Clinton. I mean, what is it you think that she is going to do for the USA that he will not?
I think she will do a good job.
Do y'all remember this dress she wore, the meat dress? Did she ever say what kind of meat it was? Here we have Oprah Winfrey. Orpah, not Oprah. She just goes by that because no one could pronounce her name. She's an American TV show host, TV producer, actress, and many more.
I love news about Oprah. So Oprah Winfrey has a bun in the oven. Well, okay, I'm just joking, but she does have a new line of frozen pizzas that you can put in the oven, and it's called Oh That's Good.
She has been arrested and on house arrest. Ellen DeGeneres was an American comedian, TV host, actress, writer, producer. She has been arrested and on house arrest. Do y'all remember her first public girlfriend, Anne Heche? She's the one who was in the news because she went all crazy, wandered in the desert, knocking on people's doors and telling them aliens and stuff was coming to get her. I don't know, but check out this clip.
I called my other personality Celestia. I called the other world that I created for myself the fourth dimension. I believed I was from that world. I believed I was from another planet. I think I was insane.
Steven Spielberg was an American film director, producer, and screenwriter. He has been arrested and executed. His daughter was interested in doing erotic porn, and this is his wife's and his response to it.
So the question is, how did mom and dad react to her decision? Well, when Michaela broke the news over FaceTime, she reveals they were intrigued but not upset. She goes on to say,
I showed you Drew Barrymore with Steven Spielberg in the picture before the clip. This is her as a child, so you know they've had a relationship for a long time. She did an interview which really took my breath away. She's only 15. Listen.
Really well documented, but in a sense, it's good to hear it again because it can be a lesson and it can help other young people. I mean, how old were you when you first had alcohol?
9.
And then, well, how did you start to drink? So the usual way, somebody said, have a drink of this.
Right. Well, I had grown up very fast, and it's not very normal to see a 9-year-old at a big Hollywood party drinking. And it looks a little weird, and people were laughing and just saying, you know, I dare you to do this, and I did, and I got really drunk, and it was such a scary, frightening feeling, yet it was such an escape from everything else in the world that I had a very liking to it, and
Harvey Weinstein is an American film producer and co-founded Miramax with his brother. He has been arrested and in prison.
He used his power, both physical in terms of his huge size and power in terms of his standing within the industry, to violently assault, rape, and abuse women.
Absolutely harassed me. He abused his power, and he lorded it over me, you know, this imbalance between us.
This is an international rapist, okay? Every single place he ever stayed, there were people there set up to help him rape.
But in 2017...
My only issue with Rose was she didn't even care until he stopped paying her. Jeffrey Epstein was an American financier. He has been arrested and serving life in prison. Pope Francis and all the cardinals at the Vatican have been arrested and executed. I found this live feed on his website, and it really explains a lot. Where is everybody at? Queen Elizabeth has been arrested and executed. She was the Queen of the UK and other 15 Commonwealth realms since February 6, 1952.
I'm speaking to you at what I know is an increasingly challenging time. A time of disruption in the life of our country. A disruption that has brought grief to some, financial difficulties to many, and enormous changes to the daily lives of us all.
Philip Windsor has been arrested and executed. He was the husband of Queen Elizabeth. Did y'all know his family was exiled from Greece as an infant? The same Greece that recently approved pedophilia? Sick. Harry Windsor, a member of the British royal family, and Meghan Markle, an American actress, and his wife, have been arrested and executed. Okay, in the clip coming up, you'll see the two of them talking about voting. Does Harry look scared and nervous to y'all, or am I reaching? Charles Windsor has been arrested and executed. He is the heir apparent to the British throne and the eldest child of Queen Elizabeth. I really believe him and his mom had something to do with this death of Princess Diana. I mean, why has no one ever been arrested for her death? Or the death of her multimillionaire boyfriend? Like, what was up with that? Justin Trudeau has been arrested and on house arrest. He is the Prime Minister of Canada, its 23rd, since 2015.
You've been reluctant to comment on the words and actions of the U.S. president, but we do have Donald Trump now calling for military action against protesters. We saw protesters tear gas yesterday to make way for a presidential photo op. I'd like to ask you what you think about that, and if you don't want to comment, what message do you think you're sending?
We all watch in horror and
Scott Morrison has been arrested and on house arrest. He is the Prime Minister of Australia since 2018.
And marker. The real question is what country do you want to live in for the next 10 years?
Meryl Streep has been arrested and on house arrest. She is an American actress.
So Hollywood is crawling with outsiders and foreigners. And if we kick them all out, you'll have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the arts.
He shut down those claims, tweeting, "Meryl Streep, one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood, doesn't know me but attacked last night at the Golden Globes. She is a Hillary flunky who lost big."
Robert De Niro has been arrested and executed. He was an American actor, producer, and director.
They reverse aged you.
Yes. Yeah. That was, yeah. Well, it took a lot of work to do. I mean, I'm happy because maybe it'll extend my career another 30 years.
Yeah, you're going to be in movies for the rest of even past.
Joe Biden, the 47th Vice President of the United States of America since 2009 to 2017, has been arrested and executed.
Wearing a mask is not a political statement. It's a scientific recommendation. Social distancing isn't a political statement. It's a scientific recommendation. Testing, tracing, the development and ultimate approval and distribution of a vaccine isn't a political statement. It is a science-based decision. We can't undo what has been done. We can't go back, but we can do so much better.
Hunter Biden was an American lawyer, investment advisor, and the second son of Joe Biden. He has been arrested and executed. He got married 6 days after meeting her. I wonder if it was to hide assets or transfer them to someone who could actually use them.
The report details Hunter Biden's dealings in Ukraine, where he held a paid seat on the board of a gas company. At the time, Joe Biden was vice president, but the report said it was ultimately unclear what impact Hunter Biden's position had on Obama administration policy with Ukraine. President Trump has alleged Joe Biden pressured Ukraine to fire its top prosecutor to protect his son.
John McCain has been arrested and executed. He was the former U.S. Senator of Arizona. His ex-wife, pictured in a black and white photo, She used to work for the White House as the director of White House Visitors Office during the Reagan administration. I can't imagine how much valuable that information could have been. This is his daughter, Meghan McCain. She always has something to say.
He was a warrior, he was a prisoner, he was a hero, he was a congressman, he was a senator, he was a nominee for President of the United States. We gather here to mourn the passing of American greatness, the real thing, not cheap rhetoric from men who will never come near the sacrifice he gave so willingly.
Roy of Siegfried and Roy was a German-American magician and entertainer. He died of COVID-19, May 2020, and you're gonna see a lot of that during this video. Do y'all remember when he was mauled by a tiger?
The world remembers the life of Roy Horn, one half of the legendary magical act Siegfried and Roy.
I give to you, Roy. Thank you.
Horn's publicist says the famed illusionist died from complications related to COVID-19 after contracting the virus last month.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real!
Troy Sneed was an American gospel singer, songwriter, and musician. He died from complications of COVID-19, April 2020. He has been arrested and executed.
And your mountainside, know it's been rough, but the struggle is over. Struggle is over.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
Fred the Godson was an American DJ and rapper. He died April 23, 2020 from complications of COVID-19. He has been arrested and executed.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real!
Joel Rogelson was an American TV producer, director, and screenwriter. He was arrested and executed. He also died from complications of COVID-19 earlier this year.
Shit is real! Shit is getting real!
Started out with half and I flipped it into double.
Same time again, we gotta go. Take one, then I dash away from Popo.
Yeah.
Snakes around my grass, they want my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no. Got the Henny, you get cocoa. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no-no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for the photos.
There's a lot of things on my mind, yeah. Stacking money like 365. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real.
Don't say you get money, boy, you been broke. Digit dash up in my circle, you can roll. Only cash up in my vision and the south. Now I'm smashing on the model cause I bought.
Hey,
cause this cream, I'ma take the team. We gon' be hot, hot like steam. I just got the dreams, I know what you mean. It's all funny to the fleet, I get 50 to my G.
Hey. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real.
half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Said time again, we gotta go. Take one, then I dash away from Popo. Yeah, snakes around my grass, they want my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no. Got the Henny, you get cocoa. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no-no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for them photos.
There's a lot of things on my mind, yeah. Stacking money like 365. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real.
Don't say you get money, boy, you been broke. Digit dash up in my circle, you can roll. Only cash up in my vision and that's all. Now I'm smashing on the model cause I bought.
Hey, cause there's cream, I'ma take the team. We gon' be hot like steam. I just got the dreams, I know what you mean. It's all funny to the fleet, I get 50 to my G. Hey.
Hey.
Cause this shit is real. out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.
Said time again, we gotta go. Take one, then I dash away from Popo.
Yeah.
Snakes around my grass, they want my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know. Got the Henny, you get cold. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for them photos.
There's a lot of things on my mind, yeah. Stacking money like 365. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real.
Don't say you get money, boy, you been broke. Digit dash up in my circle, you can roll. Only cash up in my vision and the south. Now I'm smashing on the model cause I bought.
Hey,
Cause there's cream, I'ma take the team. We gon' be hot like steam. I just got the dreams, I know what you mean. It's all funny to the feet. I get 50 to my G.
hey. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real.
Said time again, we gotta go. Take one, then I dash away from Popo.
Yeah.
Snakes around my grass, they want my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know. Got the Henny, you get cold. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for them photos.
There's a lot of things on my mind, yeah.
his job. There were jump cuts, multiple outfits, different sets.
I'm trying to talk about Iran. I'm trying to talk about Valerie Jarrett wrote the Iran deal.
I know, but you've told me this 300 times. Do you know that if...
That's what my tweet was about.
I know, you've explained this literally 300 times.
I thought the bitch was white! God damn it! I thought the bitch was white! Fuck!
Yeah, snakes around my grass, they want my dough, though. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no. Got the Henny, you get cold. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no-no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for them photos.
There's a lot of things on my mind, yeah. Stacking money like 365. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real.
Don't say you get money, boy, you been broke. Digit dash up in my circle, you can roll. Only cash up in my vision in the south. Now I'm smashing on the model cause I bought.
Hey, cause there's cream, I'ma take the team.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.
Said I'm again, we gotta go. Take one, then I dash away from Popo.
Yeah.
Snakes around my grass, they want my dough. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no. Got the Henny, you get cold. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no-no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for them photos.
There's a lot of things on my mind, yeah. Stacking money like 365. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real.
Don't say you get money, boy, you been broke. Digit dash up in my circle, you can roll. Only cash up in my vision in the south. Now I'm smashing on the model cause I bought.
Hey, cause there's cream, I'ma take the team. We gon' be hot like steam. I just got the dreams, I know what you mean. It's all funny to the fleet, I get 50 to my G.
So I can help you. Do you want to stay in a hotel tonight? Do you want to watch movies? Yeah. It'd be so cool, right? To watch a movie on TV or a computer. Yeah. Let's go. You should not have them on the floor. You should be a hardworking woman. I'm freezing right now. And you should be doing what you do for your children so they have a better life. And if someone's offering them a home and a bed, which is me at this moment, give it to them. Look what's happening. They're trafficking children. Mashallah. I won't leave until I take you. Now I know who you are. Don't with me. You're ruining agriculture by doing this. Mashallah alak. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. I'm like in shock right now.